Namaste, Pranam, Gita Dhyana. Om Parthaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Grathitam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshinim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadhyayinim Ambatva Bhagavad Gite Bhavadveshinim. O Bhagavad Gita, with which Lord Narayana himself gave enlightenment to Partha. The ancient sage Vyasa included it in the Mahabharata. O goddess, showerer of the nectar-like knowledge of non-dualism contained in your 18 chapters, O my affectionate mother, the destroyer of rebirth, I meditate upon thee. Krishna Vandana. Vasudevasutam devam kansachanuramardhanam devaki paramanandam Krishnam vande jagadgurum. Son of Vasudeva, the slayer of Kansa and Chanur, extreme delight for Mother Devaki, O Lord Krishna, the supreme teacher of the universe, my salutations to you. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, and today we will be starting the 18th adhyaya, the last chapter of this great treatise, the great teaching by Sri Krishna to Arjuna and to all of us regarding what is our duty, how we should behave, how we should treat ourselves of our divinity, how we should try to understand the divinity, our relationship with that divine Lord. And Sri Krishna has taken us along through all those various topics of Sankhya Yoga, Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and then he also gave us that great Vishwarupa Darshan, and then telling about the greatness of the Lord himself through that Vibhuti Yoga, and then he took us through that Purushottama Yoga, and the last yoga that we learned from Sri Krishna was the Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga, which was a culmination of Sri Krishna's teaching to us on the qualities of the divinity and the demonical tendencies. So this is how Sri Krishna has taken us on a long and wonderful and most knowledgeable and most devotional journey through all these 17 highly enlightening topics. And now today, Sri Krishna, we are going to start the 18th adhyaya, the Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, which is liberation by renunciation. All our journey, all our endeavors on this spiritual path, as a spiritual aspirant, they are towards liberation. And Sri Krishna has provided us so many ways how we can get liberated. How we can get liberated not only from doing our duties, the karma, from learning the things from jnana, and even liberation for that matter from that the profound path of bhakti, liberation towards becoming one with the Paramatman. This Jivatman, the indweller in the body, becoming one with its original source, which is Satchitananda, which is absolute existence, the reality, absolute reality, absolute existence, the enlightenment and the absolute bliss. Existence, knowledge, bliss, absolute. So that is what our journey is towards getting liberated. And what happens when we get this liberation, when we get this ultimate mode of nirvana? That is the culmination, that is the end of these repeated births and deaths. Taking up new body, then experiencing this creation, not happy with it. Okay, I want to try another, and likewise, we go on changing one body after another, birth after birth after birth. And then finally, when we get that enlightenment, when we get that ultimate illumination, when we get that ultimate realization of our oneness with the Supreme Lord, our oneness with the Purushottama, our oneness with the Parabrahman, then the journey ends. And that is the liberation. And here Sri Krishna says that how one can attain liberation on this spiritual path through renunciation. So that is why this 18th Adhyaya is termed as Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. And this is the culmination of Sri Krishna's teaching in this entire treatise of the 18 Adhyayas. So before starting, let us just in short recap what Sri Krishna taught us in the Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Sri Krishna started telling us that Shraddha one begets based on one's inherent tendencies. The inherent tendencies that we acquire birth after birth, which are of the which is a mix-up of sattvic, rajasic and tamasic qualities, the gunas, which is a mix of sometimes sattvic predominating, sometimes rajasic predominating, sometimes tamasic predominating. And depending on this acquisition of the inherent tendencies, that birth after birth after birth, whatever is the last account balance, based on that we take a new birth and we develop, though we carry forward with us all those tendencies that we have gathered on this journey right from the first birth. Millions and millions of births we have undergone. We don't know it, but we have undergone it, collecting all those experiences, the good and bad, the holy and unholy, the pious and evil, collecting all those experiences and adding up to our inherent tendency. Based on that inherent tendency, Sri Krishna said that one begets Shraddha. Because to do anything that we are going to do in life, Shraddha is necessary. Without Shraddha, if we do anything, it has no value. It is as good as we have done nothing at all. So that is how the Shraddha begets, depending on the inherent tendency. And then depending on the Shraddha that begets in a being, that person starts behaving in that manner in that birth. Whether it is an act of yajna, that is the sacrificial ritual, or any ritual for that matter, the spiritual rituals, the sacrificial rituals, whether it is yajna or it is an austerity, the tapas, or it is dana, it is a giving of a gift, or if it is whatever task for that matter. And throughout this adhyaya, Sri Krishna has symbolically again and again used these three karmas of yajna, of tapas and of dana. But that doesn't mean it is limited only to these three karmas, whatever we are doing. Sri Krishna says these are just symbolic of your sacrifices, of your austerities, and of your tendency of giving alms and gifts and charities. So, depending on this Shraddha, one starts behaving accordingly. Then Sri Krishna explained to us what is the sattvic yajna, what is the rajasic yajna, tamasic yajna, and same thing in terms of austerity, and same thing in terms of dana, same thing in terms of meditative worship, that Sri Krishna has explained how the sattvic way of doing a thing is the purest of the pure, with no tinge of selfishness attached. It is absolutely selfless. And then the rajasic one, which has a tinge of selfishness. Any rajasic thing we do, there is a desire of earning name and fame in that. There is a desire that people should worship me, people should praise me, people should reward me, people should say hi about me. That kind of desire, selfish desire, the desire of self-glorification. And what about the tamasic? It is a good for nothing. But Sri Krishna says all these the negativities of the rajasic and the tamasic can be eliminated if you start any activity, whether it is yajna, whether it is tapas, whether it is dana, or any ordinary day-to-day activity. Before starting, if you utter Om Tat Sat. Om Tat Sat, which is a designation of the Brahman itself. Each and every element of Om Tat Sat signifies Brahman. Om is the Nada Brahman. Tat is that Brahman itself. And Sat, Sri Krishna says, Sat is everything. It is the ultimate reality. It is the ultimate existence. And it is the ultimate truth. So whatever good we do falls in the category of Sat. Whatever we do in the selfless manner falls in the category of Sat. And finally, Sri Krishna told us that anything that is done without Shraddha, Sri Krishna says, whatever you do with Shraddha, whether it is Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic, doesn't matter. But have strong faith, have that strong, intense faith in yourself, intense faith in the task that you are undertaking, and intense faith in the understanding that this is the Lord's task. It is not my task. I am just an instrument. Have that faith. Once you have that faith, you get to the mode of liberation. And Sri Krishna says, anything that is done without faith. That was the last teaching on the 28th shloka of that 17th adhyaya of Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. Ashraddhaya hutam dattam tapastattam krutam chayat asat iti uchyate partha nacha tat pretya no iha. Anything done without Shraddha is no good. Whether it is a yajna, tapasa, dana, or any activity for that matter, it is asat iti uchyate. That activity which is done without Shraddha is termed as it is asat. It is not real, it is not false, it has never been done as such, that activity. And since that activity is not done, since that task is not done, since that Lord's work is not done, Sri Krishna says, there is no place for that person here or hereafter. Nacha tat pretya no iha. After death also there is no kind of liberation for that person, no escape for that person. So again and again we have to come back. So there is no place for the person here or hereafter if anything is done without Shraddha. So that was the great teaching in that Shraddhatraya Vibhaga Yoga. And today, now let us start the Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. It starts with Arjuna asking a question to Sri Krishna. Arjuna uvāca. Saṃnyāsasya mahābāho tattvamicchāmi veditum tyāgasya cha hṛṣīkeśa pṛthakkeśiniṣūdana. Now here Arjuna has started understanding, has started realizing the import of Krishna's words. And after listening to these 17 adhyaya, the knowledge that Krishna has shared with him in the 17 adhyayas, that Arjuna has now started realizing that yes, now it is time for me. It all started when Arjuna had actually gone into a desperate mood in that Arjuna Vishada Yoga. He has gone so desperate. He had got so frightened seeing all his cousins and all his elders and all his revered teachers and Pitamaha Bhishma in the enemy camp that he had just collapsed in the chariot and told Sri Krishna that I am not going to fight, my friend. This Mahabharata war is beyond my capacity. I cannot fight. They are all my brothers. If I fight, such an anarchy will happen in this society. And he started giving all those illogical reasonings, justifications. And then Sri Krishna gave all this huge sermon. And now Arjuna is thinking that yes, now is the time for me to take up my Gandiva again. And therefore, look the way Arjuna is addressing Sri Krishna in this shloka. Arjuna is addressing Sri Krishna as mahābāho, oh mighty armed. That means Arjuna has recognized the fact that yes, it is now time for me to pick up my bow and arrows and get ready for the fight, because my friend mahābāho is with me. So therefore Arjuna addresses Sri Krishna as mahābāho here. This is the first time Arjuna has addressed Sri Krishna as mahābāho. in this entire Bhagavad Gita. Sanyāsasya mahābāho tattvamicchāmi veditum. Ichchami veditum. I want to know. I want to know what? Sanyāsasya tattvam. What is the import? Tattvam. What is the truth? What is the real truth behind this word sannyasa? Oh Hrishikeśa, oh mahābāho, oh mighty armed, I want to know. And then he says Hrishikesa. Now he is addressing Krishna in so many wonderful adjectives. First he used mahābāho. Now he is using the word Hrishikesa. Hrishikesa is one who has complete control over senses. Krishna, of course, is the ultimate, the representation of Purushottama. So all senses are within his control, and that's why he is Arjuna's charioteer. He is control the reins of the horses of Arjuna's chariot. And likewise, Krishna actually is controlling, Krishna dwelling in our hearts is controlling the reins of our chariot also, controlling the reins of our horses also. But through the veil of Maya, we don't realize it. So with that intention, Arjuna now is calling him Hrishikesha, the controller of senses, the one who has total grasp over the senses. All the senses are under his control. And then pṛthakkeśiniṣūdana. Keshi-niṣūdana. Keshi-niṣūdana is slayer of Keshi. Keshi was a demon. Now Sri Krishna is being praised as one with the great deeds, heroic deeds of the killer slayer of Keshu. And then mahābāho, mighty armed, one who has total control over senses, the Hrishikesa. So Arjuna is now telling that, tell me in totality, tell me severely, what is the truth behind this sannyasa? What is the truth of sannyasa? O mahābāho, O Hrishikesha, O Keshi-niṣūdana, O slayer of Keshi, tell me this truth. Now Arjuna wants to know about the renunciation part of this entire process of our existence. How do we renounce? What does this mean? How can we attain? And then this doubt has come into the mind of Sri Krishna, of Arjuna, and therefore he is asking Sri Krishna, please tell me. I desire to know truthfully. I desire to know severely. pṛthakkeśiniṣūdana veditum. I want to know for sure, O mighty armed, the truth of sannyasa, O Hrishikesha, as also of Tyaga, and also not only of sannyasa. Sanyasa is renunciation, and Tyaga is sacrifice. Again, a renunciation. So what is this? What does this whole thing mean? That is what now Arjuna wants to know of the sannyasa and of the Tyaga, of the renunciation and giving up, for that matter. So what really this means? And with this question of Arjuna, now Sri Krishna is going to elaborately answer this question to make Arjuna understand that what is liberation, what is renunciation, and how one should aim to attain that liberation through renunciation. So that is going to be the content of this 18th adhyaya, the Moksha Sannyasa Yoga. And Lord is going to explain the intricacies of this liberation through renunciation. How renunciation, how this Tyaga leads to Sanyasa, the Moksha. So with that, we will start this last adhyaya, having read the first verse today. Following this is in fact quite a big treatise on Moksha Sannyasa Yoga, almost 70 odd shloka in them, 78. So this is going to be a very interesting reading, because this also happens to be the last adhyaya of the last 6 chapters. Now, what Swami Chidbhavananda ji has mentioned here is that in chapter 5, stanza 13, and in chapter 9, stanza 28, the Lord made reference to sannyasa. That was sannyasa yoga, karma sannyasa yoga. Then chapter 4, stanza 20, and in chapter 12, stanza 11, he mentioned about the tyaga of the renunciation. And these two spiritual practices require to be clarified and differentiated. What way is sannyasa different from tyaga? That is, so that there can be a confusion in the minds of devotees, that apparently sannyasa and tyaga, for us, they look to be the same. Sannyasa is also renunciation, tyaga is also renunciation, giving up, giving up, giving up, giving up. So what is difference between these two? Are they one and the same thing, or there is any kind of difference between the sannyasa and tyaga? Now, sannyasa, by the word sannyasa, typically we understand, our interpretation of typical word sannyasa is giving up everything and going away into the forest, taking, renouncing everything and taking monastic vows, becoming monks or nuns. But is there difference between sannyasa and the tyaga? So that Sri Krishna, that the query Arjuna has raised here, and that Sri Krishna is going to address all through this 18th adhyaya. Till then, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sri Krishna Arpanamastu. Jai Sri Rama Krishna. Jai Thakur. Jai Ma. Jai Swamiji.